Welcome back to another edition of the NoStoppingKev Show. Y'all, we got another great one for you. Another great one. Dad, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go at it.
Yeah, I bet you are. You always are. I feel like you always on go whenever there's these types of conversations. But people, before we get into it, make sure if you haven't already, you subscribe to the Instagram. All right. That's where you get a lot of the first to know news, the updates. So follow us on Instagram at the NoStoppingKev Show. Make sure you check out the website. Also, drop your email on the website. That's how you can also get updates. So go to NoStoppingKev.com. Also, check out the shop there. That's where you can find No Stopping Kev apparel, and you can check out my Women's Basketball Matters line of apparel as well. Get yourself a little T-shirt, maybe a little laptop sticker so you can show your support. WNBA season is right around the corner, so be on the lookout for more on that. But Dad, you sent me something very intriguing this week, and I was kind of surprised when you hit me up and asked me if I checked out this because, you know, one of my favorite podcasts is Gilbert Arenas' No Chill podcast because he breaks down a lot about. He's kind of like my man on the inside when it comes to NBA things, past, present, and future. But you brought up an episode this week where he was talking about the evolution of the point guard. What were some of the biggest things that kind of jumped out to you as you were listening to that?
Well, you know what? The time, like how the game has really changed when he was talking about that. See, like when I talk about point guards, I think of it like Magic is I gotta say he's the all-time point guard. And like he a true point guard. And even listen to his show sometime, Maurice Cheeks was a good point guard. You look at Isiah. I really don't call Isiah a point guard. I mean, he was a point guard, and he could control and run the offense. But then, just like he was saying, a lot of time he can switch and he was able to go and play shooting guard too because they had Joe Dumars. They had Joe Dumars that can really run the offense. You know what was crazy? Even sometimes back on them Detroit Pistons championship team, you even had the microwave. And the microwave came in the game sometime and controlled the game and controlled it and still took Isiah off the ball.
For my younger crowd, I know who the microwave is. What you want to tell us?
Vinnie Johnson.
Vinnie Johnson. All right, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry for calling him the microwave.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So for I guess who would be your all-time top 5 point guards?
My all-time top 5. My all-time top 5 would probably be I'm gonna say Magic would be first. See, like I got some I could name some point guards that and now what way Magic would be definitely my top. And I'm gonna put Isiah in there. Mm-hmm. But I also got to put Nash in there, a 2-time league MVP.
Yeah, back-to-back years, right?
I got to put him there. You got to put, you don't have to. This is mine. I got to put John Stockton there. Mm-hmm. I got to put him there. So that's 4 of mine right now. And you know what? 5 can be, my 5th one could be 4 or 5 other people that I would pick there.
So who would you put there? Uh-huh. Who would you put there in this moment to fill out your list?
Oh man, see, I could go with them. See, and I'm leaving some good point guards out, like Jason Kidd. That could be. You know what? Let me switch up and go somewhere I don't want to go. I really gonna go, but you know what? I'm just to fill out my list and don't just stay out of this. I'm gonna put somebody in this time in there. Chris Paul.
Okay, I like that. So you have Magic Johnson, one of the NBA greats of all time. You had the NBA assists leader, John Stockton. You had Steve Nash, who's number 3 in league assists. Chris Paul, who's now number 5, moving up the list. Who am I missing?
Magic. You're missing Isiah. Isiah, a two-time NBA champion, back-to-back champion.
And I think another cool thing about Isiah is that you can kind of say Isiah Thomas is the most underrated player of all time in the NBA. Like I'm willing to say that. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I always like Isiah, you know, and you know what? Now, see, like when you saying a player could play in both areas, now I think Isiah would be totally effective. Like the days came. Oh, I don't think you could stop.
That's what Gilbert was saying too. He was saying that, you know, Zeke kind of was ahead of his time. You think about point guards today. You know, one of the things he was talking about is that in the past, right, the further you go back, the more your point guard fit into a box where their job was to facilitate, get assists, and kind of play defense. Fast forward to today, your point guards, I would say, are much more dynamic. Not only are they facilitators getting assists, less emphasis is placed on defense now, I would say, although some of them are solid defenders. But now your point guard is a bucket getter, right? That's why, you know, the era that we're in right now is kind of like the age of the point guard, where you have so many great point guards in the league today when you're talking about Kyrie Irving, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Luka. Even guys like John Morant are just doing it all from a bucket-getting standpoint to setting up their team. And so the point that you're making, the sentiments that Gilbert Arenas share, is that Isiah Thomas would kind of be perfect in today's game because he can handle the rock, he could score it, and he could set guys up.
But see, like, you know what? The thing is, like, even on that, the game has changed. See, because, like, when you name Kyrie Irving and all them, he's not a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's playing a point position. You know what I mean? He's filling the slot of a point guard.
All right, I'm going to say he's a point guard, but he's a shot-first point guard. And I think that's a difference. So historically, the point guard is a passer, whereas today I think it's more of a shot first. And for some people, that can be a negative connotation. For some people, it's fine. Like with me, that's fine because of where the game is today.
Okay. When I look at some things and like when I used to tell you that you're a better point guard than me, because like what I was saying that you're better than me because you can run an offense better than I can run an offense. Now you might not have many assists that I threw. You might not have scored as many points that I did. But being a point guard, you were smarter on the floor than I was. And I used to always say that to you, and I don't know if you always remember, but I always said
I'll
that
never
to you.
forget that. That's
something that I always said to you, and that's what I'm talking about. Where like today, like when we saying Isiah, when I bring up Isiah and we bring up Isiah could run an offense. You know, he came from Indiana, Bobby Knight. You know, he was taught to run it, but he also could score and do anything. Just like I'm saying today, you couldn't hand check. The game is less physical today and everything like that. So you know what? He would fit right in. Now he's not shooting like Steph Curry. He's definitely not doing that. You know, Kyrie can even shoot. Like Kyrie can't. You can't really stop him. You know, because he can do inside and out.
Yeah, I would say.
So and then like. Go ahead. Let me just finish saying this. You know, it's like where today, like all them that you name, they are not point guards. Unless
I disagree.
Why not?
So one, Kyrie's not a 2 because he's still like I don't think of Kyrie as being an Iverson. Like Iverson, like a clear 2.
What did Kyrie tell Harden to do?
All right, I like that. Good point. See, I'm thinking of Kyrie pre-Brooklyn, but when Kyrie's out there, Kyrie's a He's a combo guard. I think that's where the league is today, where you have like Dame and CJ being. It's like either one has the capability to play the one because they can handle the ball, break guys down off the dribble, and then make the right basketball play from there, whether that's shooting or making the pass to the open guy. I think Kyrie does that. Harden does that. So you got two combo guards.
I got something else for you. I'm gonna go back a little bit in time.
Okay.
All right. What about when Kyrie was in Cleveland?
When Kyrie was in Cleveland, I think you had him and LeBron sharing that point responsibilities because they would alternate who would bring the ball up and kind of initiate the offense from there.
Okay, so like this where I'm gonna say where I'm gonna do this is because now when Kyrie left, when he left Cleveland, he went to Boston. If I'm not mistaken, was that his first start? They really didn't like. He still never really ran the team there. He's still like you want to say in this day and time. He's shooting. He shoot first.
Yeah, he's a shot first point guard.
So Absolutely. He's not running the team.
I disagree with that, Dad.
He's not running the team.
Were you a point guard?
Huh?
Were you a point guard?
Yeah, I was a point guard. Yeah,
how many points were you averaging?
Huh?
How many points were you averaging in high school and college?
Okay, I averaged how many points I averaged?
You said you was leading the city in school.
In high school?
Yeah, you was leading the city.
In high school, I averaged 28.
You was leading the city in scoring? You was at the top of that list?
Yeah.
If you scoring, ain't a whole lot of passing, my brother. But you were a point guard, right?
But what I'm saying is, I still, you know what? I was the point guard, and I still might have had.
You a point guard.
I never really looked at myself, but I looked at myself.
How did you look at yourself?
Okay, like I was a scoring point guard. That's what I just used to say.
Okay, that's what Kyrie is then, right?
But you know what? Kyrie, some people would just say, you laughing at this. I'm not going to say Kyrie, but see, Kyrie's not running the team. See, you got to remember, we still talking about the day and time. Where like, you know what? Name a team that really, name somebody else that like is on Chris Paul level.
Today?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you say Steph is on Chris Paul's level? Why wouldn't you say a guy like Westbrook is on? Because
they are. Look at their assists.
Westbrook has the assist.
I mean, the 1 year he had the triple double. Yeah, he had
the last 4 years.
Okay, he didn't have a triple double every year, did he?
Yes, the last 4. They just stopped talking about it. He's averaging a triple double now.
But see, now we're gonna even go with that. I'm even gonna go with that now. We're gonna talk about assist is not assist like assist was back in the day.
Okay, but if we talking about Chris Paul or Westbrook, they assist the same. But go ahead.
Chris Paul might have like I'm saying, but their assist is not like assist like the day. Like I'm saying, assist you can dribble the ball and get an assist today.
Right.
So them having look. What about if I got sisters passing and going to the basket, people going to the basket, or even passing and somebody take one jump shot, right? Now you got a person that could dribble the ball and he's still getting assist for that.
Yeah.
Or he can make a move and you still give him assist.
Right.
That's not a real assist.
I'll say it is a real assist. It's not a real assist. Different than how it was back in the dinosaur days where it had to be basically catch and shoot or catch and layup.
Well, that was an assist. So now, like what I'm saying is, if that was an assist, then what is this now? How you gonna make that assist now? Why you just want to have a play? You want some of the records broke? Is that why they changed the way assist is?
I think that in a lot of instances, assist kind of makes sense. Like if the definition is setting someone up for a basket, even if they got to do a little creativity on their own, but at the end of the day, you help put them in that position because you had to give them the ball in that spot, right? And I'm not talking about like the instances where you see someone throw the ball to someone and they take 8 dribbles and somehow it still counts. But I mean, when it's like a pass and maybe a guy goes into a quick move shot, I think that should still count as an assist because you still had to get them the ball in that position with that opportunity. Then
how?
Because like
if I throw the ball to Steph Curry at half court and he make a move and pull up at the 3-point line, you know what? I ain't helping do that.
You still had to make that outlet pass.
No, I said if I come down, I'm dribbling the ball down to the front court. When I pass it to Steph over there, he right beside me, and he make a move and hit a jump shot, and you give him an assist. You get an assist for that. What did you help him do? What position did you get him in? All he did was fake like he going there, step back, and you pass him the ball. Okay, yeah. Now he make a move.
He V-cut, got open. I threw him the rock when he was open. Opportunity. And then he did his thing.
Okay. All right. Now, even if he wasn't open and you just threw him the ball right there, or even that the person ain't steal the ball, now he make a move and you get assist for that. Come on, man. Come on, man.
All right. I get what you're saying there. I get where you're coming from, and I can respect that.
To me, when Michael and them won championships, they won championships without a point guard. I don't feel they had a point guard.
I'm gonna disagree there.
Okay, who was the
I'll
point
say
guard?
they had a more traditional point guard.
Who?
Harper, Kerr, Paxton.
When Harper played really in Cleveland, he was a scorer. Do you know that?
Yeah, I've heard some talks about that in listening to some podcasts recently.
So he played the point guard position. He might have brought the ball. You know what? They use Scotty. They let Scotty bring the ball a lot.
Yeah, true. So I guess. Okay. I think that's valid. Because I guess, what they needed their quote unquote person to do, their small guy, the guy in the one spot to do was play defense and hit open shots, which is Paxton hit a big shot. That's just to, not say that's the only shot he's hit, but Kerr hit a big shot. And I'm only highlighting those incidents because that's what they were asked to do.
Sure.
And I guess you do make a good point there. They didn't have a facilitating floor general point guard because Scotty was kind of your dynamic forward who I guess you call him point forward.
And who, like, I don't know if you were watching. Do you remember Paul Pressey? He played with Milwaukee.
Mm-mm.
You know what? He played like he was one of the first point forwards. He was a point forward. They used him as, and that's what he really did because he could handle the ball. And see, that's why I'm saying the daytime. You know what? Look, you got Embiid. You got Embiid to run the offense.
The Joker.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you tell me, so if you had a point guard, what point guard do you really got if you got them really running the show?
Yeah, you don't need one at that point. Like, I don't think like a floor general isn't essential to win at a championship in the NBA today. You need bucket getters and weapons. You need go-to guys and weapons.
Well, I mean, that's the difference in the game today, and the difference in the guards like that today. You probably, like I'm saying, do you know of any traditional point guards in the league today?
Chris Paul.
I say he's the closest, right?
Yeah, he's the closest.
That's
you
why
probably say Luka is pretty close to a traditional point guard, like to a pure point. Don't you think? Or do you disagree?
I see, like the game the game has changed so much in a way that the offense is put, like with the 3-point game is so much different now. So they not really, you don't really need one of them.
Yeah, but I just was trying to answer your question, like who do we have in today's league that is close to a pure point that's actually solid and, you know, one of the best in the league. I would have to kind of throw Luka in there. I mean, yeah, he averages, you know, 20, almost 29 points this season, but he also averages 9 assists. And I think about, when you think about his game, he's definitely a facilitator that gets buckets. Like when I think of Luka, although he averages 30 points, I don't think of him as being a shot first guy, only because he kind of lets the game come to him. You know, his game, I would say, parallels a guy like Chris Paul more than it would parallel a guy like Westbrook, Steph, Kyrie, because I feel like he's thinking about getting his team involved. Although Russ is, I feel like, also thinking about getting his team involved. He just plays at a different pace.
I see, like, and then even with him, and I know that's your one of your top players. I can't really, like, Westbrook to me is not a guard, not a point guard, and I don't care that he averaged 10 assists. But you know what? But he's not averaging 10 assists this year. He's not getting a triple double this year.
Dad, how many times we gotta go through this?
What are you averaging now?
I'm about to tell you. I'm gonna give you his exact stat line.
Yeah,
because the other thing, you know, in our last episode when we talked about the Big O being in there, a lot of people put him up there because of his triple double records. Wes about to break that. He's only a few away from being the all-time triple double leader. But to answer your question, Westbrook is averaging 21.9 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 11 assists. Put some respect on my man's name. That you gotta apologize.
Okay, I'm apologizing. But you know what though? I'm still gonna tell you. It's not really hard for him to get assists. It's not hard today. So like I'm still gonna go. Assist of the day is not like assist back then. It's not like a real assist. What I'm saying is, like, you know what? And then when you look at this, like you know what? I could average, like when I was in school, I don't know how many assists I averaged. But it wasn't hard for me getting assists because you know what? When I would go to the basket, people go, you're going to always draw people to you. So then when you dish it off or something like that, you know, it's easier than coming down and really running an offense and running a play to get an assist. It's a difference.
I would say more credit to today's guy because they're creating the opportunity more than just relying on a play. So, like, if you look at, and I'm not going to say assists are easy because if they were easy, everybody would have them. Just like when people try to create this false narrative about Russ stat padding, when a guy has to actually go out and chase down rebounds, which is probably a pretty tough thing to do, there's an art to it. So, like, even looking at assist leaders in the NBA today, wow, I didn't expect some of these names to be at the top of the list. But you got Westbrook leading at 11. Behind him is Trae Young at 9.4. Luka at 3, 8.9. Chris Paul at 4, 8.7. Followed by Draymond Green at 8.6. And then Joker at 8.5. Everybody else is in the 7s, right? To be an assist guy, all of these guys at that list, with the exception of Draymond, we can talk about him in a second because he kind of falls into that other bucket, I'll say. But when I'm looking at Westbrook, Trae Young, Luka, Chris Paul, and the Joker, these are guys that you can run your offense through, right? These are guys that are playmakers for themselves and their teams. They put a lot of pressure on the defense on the perimeter, and when they're driving to the basket, drawing defenders and making a play, hitting the open guy to hit a shot. They're making the game easier. I highlight Draymond because Draymond really, I don't see him as a creator. I see him as a guy with great IQ that makes great passes and has someone like Steph who can just hand him the ball, shoot this real quick, I need this assist. Like
but here we go again. See, the assist today, because you could pass it to Steph. Now Steph can make a move and hit a shot, and he got an assist.
Mm-hmm.
So, this deep, like I'm saying, when assist, okay, even when you create a move, back in the day, you create a move and pass it to a person. You know what? He couldn't dribble the ball. Once he dribbled, that eliminates the assist.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you allow him to have assists for what? What reason? Like I'm saying, it's not. You know what? Assist, but assist before was assist. Now, like I'm saying, you can have it, and the person can take 2-3 dribbles. He can shake and still shoot, and that's an assist. Like you say, Draymond you can't see Draymond as creating assists. So how can he be up that far on a list if it wasn't for the way assists is down?
I mean, yeah, sometimes you just got to be in the right system around bucket getters, and the offense flows through you. So to an extent, the offense flows through Draymond, and he just hits the open guy. Whether it's not always Steph, sometimes he's hitting the big who's slipping the screen. That screen for Steph, and now he's open because both defenders wanted to take away that three.
When Steph had how many against the Sixers? What did he have? That game
49
or what? Somewhere
I think it was like 49 because he missed the free throw.
So you know how many assists that Draymond could have had on him that game, and he ain't doing it but coming off of picks and maybe be shooting 35 feet out.
Now you got me curious as to how many assists Draymond had in that game. I'm a find it for us. How many do you think he had? What's your prediction?
I don't even know, but I'm just saying it's so much easier today with assists. Assists, like I'm saying, it's just different.
All right, if Steph had 49 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all of Draymond's assists don't go to that.
Right.
But we'll set the over-under at 7 assists. Do you think Draymond had more than 7 or less than 7 in that game?
That game?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't.
You got to pick over and under.
Huh? Do I think he had over 7 assists?
Yeah, or under.
I'm going to go under.
Oh, he had 6 assists that game.
Okay.
All right, so maybe assists aren't that easy. Because you would think maybe assists aren't that easy.
Why aren't they? They are the way that they count them.
Because what you said is, he could just have assist out the wazoo because he could just hand Steph the ball. Steph can then break his man down using 12 dribbles, score, and he get an assist.
But you got to also remember with Steph could just come off a pick, which I'm not saying is one of the assists that he break there. I say you can do that. Now we know Steph is a good catch and shoot player too. Steph can score any kind of way. Off the ball, he can do it all. Right, left, he could do it all. But I'm saying it makes it so much easier. Now when you got him, now imagine that you had Clay. And with them getting assists, they're gonna be up in assist because they players that can come off it. But now, what I'm saying before, say they came off a pick and took a dribble and then shot. That's not an assist. Today's game is an assist.
The definition of assist in basketball is an assist is attributed to a player who passes the ball to a teammate in a way that leads to a score by field goal, meaning they are assisting in the basket.
Okay, what I'm saying is, and what we said back in the day, you couldn't take a dribble. Today, like you justifying them scoring a basket. But like what I'm saying is now that they can dribble and still assist.
Yeah. But I mean, you're still aiding in that.
But imagine before, okay.
It definitely was harder.
Look at how many assists Magic and them had when they led the league.
Yeah, they would have more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Definitely.
But so like now, takes away from the game today. The game is just different today. I don't think that takes away from the game today. I just think that when you're comparing assist, the older guy gets the edge in that category because assist where there were fewer ways to score and assist in the older days.
See, and like I'm saying, it's like you don't have we gonna say traditional point guards no more. That way, I guess that's one way where they can keep and say like we got assists or something like that, or assists still coming up and it could be Steph, because you don't have it. You got like Steph. Like I don't look at Steph as a point guard.
What would you call him?
Huh?
What would you call him?
Steph is a shooter who can shoot.
But
now can he handle the ball? Do they have like I'm saying, look who their coach is. Look who their coach is. Where did that coach play at?
San Antonio.
Okay. What position did he play when he played in San Antonio?
Point guard.
Behind who? Tony Parker?
In that year, my goodness. He was playing behind Tony. Tony was around that long?
Yeah.
Dang, I'm old.
They started really winning championships again when at the who was it? Was it Avery Johnson that they won with early? And then after he left, wasn't it Tony Parker that came in?
I'm pretty sure you're right. It's just hard for me.
So what I'm saying is they was point guards. So you could say like they was really point guard. Now, when I know that you alluded talking about him playing in Chicago, I know you skipped by that, but he played in Chicago. But did Chicago have a point guard?
You asking me? You want me to answer that?
Yeah, I want you to answer that now.
They didn't have a facilitating point guard.
Okay.
And I think that's what this comes down to. And to your point about when Kerr went to San Antonio, they won the championship that year, 2002-2003 season. But I think that's what it comes down to. The point guard position has evolved from facilitate defense to facilitate, hit some shots, maybe a little defense, to dynamic assassin.
You know what?
Break guys down, get buckets, assist when it's there, but you run the show, do your thing, and be the ultimate playmaker.
You know what? What defense today? I mean, most all the players you had.
I didn't put that in my equation for today. It was like historic facilitate defense to, let's call it 90-ish, when you started to see the curves and that become more common, hit shots, in some cases facilitate, but play some defense. And now today it's just be that dynamic assassin.
Like to me, when I would go back to like some of the teams today, like, one of the and I could have went, and I forgot one of the good point guards too, that like what I'm saying is you could take. I remember Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe. See, this is like before your time. Now they was two guards that could score. They were both two guards that could run an offense back then. They both could, and like what, like when I was saying with Detroit, when you had Isiah and Joe Dumars. Both of them could score, but they both wouldn't score like that. Isiah was probably more of the scorer. That's what I was saying. They put Isiah as the point guard, but a lot of time when Joe would run the offense, when Benny Johnson come in, so they would run it. Like now, like you're saying, like Westbrook and Bill, ain't none of them really running no offense.
Because today your primary ball guys are offensive assassins.
Okay.
And I'll say that's probably pretty common across the league, whether you're talking about a Russ, a Kyrie. I keep throwing Ja Morant in there because I just think he has a huge ceiling. Even Harden, who I'll say is a point guard, that's where the game is. And if you don't have a dynamic point guard who is a bona fide bucket getter and also can pass, that's not your ideal choice. Like the Sixers have Ben Simmons, but when you have a guy that's not a bona fide bucket getter, sometimes that can be limiting, right? And we'll see if that's still the case this year in the playoffs. But in the last few seasons, the lack of offensive ability has kind of hindered the Sixers' progression as teams begin to shrink the floor, pack the defense, and force him to hit shots, right? So when you have a point guard like, the Clippers having Patrick Beverley, you still feel like you're missing something. Because in today's game, you kind of need a dynamic guy at that position, I would say.
Well, like you're saying, you know what? It's more of a shooter's game now. You need that shooter because, it's really more wide open because you got your bigs that can hit threes. You got like that. See, like now, if I would do sometimes what I would still have to do is run Ben into the hole sometimes. I would try to set some play where he had to go inside, where he going to be a threat or put some pressure on somebody. Because you're right, at times, by him not being able to shoot, he's not going to put people on pressure.
Right.
And people going to be able to do that. So now that's when I think that you got to use him, something like that at times.
Yeah, I think, and that's one adjustment, just switching gears here a little bit to talk about the Sixers. I think that's one adjustment we've seen. I've talked a lot about the improvement in Joel Embiid's game here on the show. But also looking at Ben, one of the things that jumped out at me the most this season under Doc Rivers is I think whenever he has a smaller guy on him, he's automatically going inside because that's his advantage, right? His size at that position. Then if they have a bigger guy on him, I think you see him trying to slash, get into the lane, and do his thing there. And I feel like just in general, which is why I'm interested to see how things pan out in the playoffs when teams are game planning to stop the Sixers, is that I think ultimately the more ball movement, the more player movement that the Sixers have displayed this year has kind of allowed guys, like Ben Simmons to be more impactful in a game, but also it opens up opportunities for guys like Tobias Harris to go out and get you 27 points. Then even your role players to get easy buckets just off of movement rather than relying on a stagnant offense. So we're going to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Ben is more of your traditional point, wouldn't you say? Right. Facilitating defense.
Right. Definitely, because he can't shoot. He got no other choice.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's a dinosaur in today's game, but the difference that makes him not so much a dinosaur is that he's 6'10", playing that traditional point role, because that presents a whole different dynamic to him in his position and what that means for a defense. Because you can't just have your typical point guard kind of matched up on him if he's going to make them pay for being undersized. Right. Yeah, but that, really enjoy chit-chatting with you. I love this stuff. You gave your top 5 point guards. My list.
But you didn't get yours, though, huh?
Yeah, so I would go. See, this is tough for me. Because, one, there's guys that I've watched. There's guys that I haven't watched, right? But I think that I know enough by looking at, resume evaluation, right? I can kind of go off of that. So if I'm saying all-time point guards, I will put Magic in my top 5. No question. I will put John Stockton in my top 5. I will put a guy who used to be my favorite player in the league in my top 5. You know who that is?
I know. I hope it ain't who I think you're going to say, but no.
Chris Paul.
Oh, that's what you're going to make that?
Yeah, Chris Paul was my favorite player kind of after the Iverson era died down, and I shifted my eyes on another guard, and I was a huge fan of Chris Paul when he was on the Hornets, that whole era. I kind of, when I was in high school, that's the guy I wanted to model myself after. My next point guard of all time, So far I got 2 old guys, 1 modern day guy, right? My next one. This is tough. All right, I'm gonna come back to that.
Oh man, you made me get mine.
My next 4, my 4th spot, I'm then gonna say LeBron James. Gonna say LeBron. Now at 5, I'm kind of torn. I'm torn between a few people. Those people are Steve Nash, Isiah Thomas, and can you think of you know who the last person is, right?
Who?
Russell Westbrook. This is tough. I might offend a lot of people with this, and I'm in the minority. I'm going to say my number 5 for top point guards of all time. Russell Westbrook is in my top 5 point guards because the man has averaged a triple-double for 4 seasons. He's a league MVP. He's been to the finals. And it's kind of tough to have an answer for him. I think he's proven he's done what very few at any position has done. So for that reason, I think he is so unique that how can he not be in your top 5?
Well, you know what? It's hard for me because, you know what? I think I left the Big O out of mine. And I really can't leave the Big O out.
You left him out earlier?
I think I did.
You said Magic, Nash, Chris Paul.
Stockton. I say Stockton. And I said Isiah, right?
Oh, and Isiah.
I gotta put that Big O in there.
So who you eliminating? I can probably guess who you eliminating now.
Who that?
I'm gonna let you say it.
No, I want you to think who I'm eliminating.
We can say it at the same time if you want to say it on 3. You got your mind made up?
Let me see.
So you had Magic, Nash, Chris Paul.
I'm gonna go Magic, the Big O.
Do you know who you're eliminating? Don't say who you're eliminating yet, because I want to see if I got the same thing, so we can say it on 3.
I'm probably really getting ready to eliminate Isiah.
You just ruined the whole thing. That damn, you're supposed to say it on 3, but I thought you were going to eliminate Nash.
He had 2-time league MVP.
Isiah has championships.
You're right about that too. That's why I'm saying it's kind of hard. Do I think? You know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I would eliminate Nash.
Why?
I would because, like, you know what? See, Nash also could score.
Yeah, so I think you're justified in eliminating Zeke, to be honest, because I think he's a better scorer than Zeke. And he also was one.
I think he might have been a better shooter than Zeke.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say he's a better scorer than Zeke.
Okay, that's fair.
Like that. But like I said, it's harder. But see, like what I'm saying is, I think that he could run an offense better than Zeke.
Absolutely.
I think, and then like you're saying, he was already voted MVP too. I don't know. Did Isiah ever win the league MVP?
No.
See, that's why I have to give it to Nash, and he won it back to back. Like, but see, like, you know what? We still had
There's also some politics involved with league MVPs. Like, Shaq always says Nash got one of those MVP trophies at his house.
That should have been his.
Look at the stat line. It's like maybe you compare Kobe's stats one year to Nash's, and it's like maybe Kobe should have had another MVP trophy at his house. You look at Isiah Thomas and the whole thing that went down with the Dream Team. and kind of some of the reputation that got him in that position. Maybe Isiah, I don't know, because in his era.
Well, we know it's politics and everything.
Yeah, so maybe Isiah still won't have any MVPs, but
yeah. But he got the playoff MVP though, right? He has
a Finals MVP. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1990, Finals MVP.
Right.
But comparing their stats, so Isiah for his career averaged 19 points, 9 assists. Steve Nash, here we go, 14 points, 8 assists. Yeah, get him up out of here, man.
Oh yeah.
Get him up out of here.
Yeah. But I'll let Nash go on that.
Yeah, like sometimes though it does depend on.
But
like Nash's 96-97 season, he only played. He was playing behind someone. So played in 65 games, only started 2. He was playing behind. Was that J Kidd back then? 96-97 in Phoenix? Yeah, J Kidd. So, that's part of the reason his career averages are probably a little bit lower. And because of minutes. So you probably got to find their prime years and then average that out.
You know who else was good? Do you ever hear of Mark Price?
Yes, I've heard that name.
Yeah, Mark Price was tough too.
There's been a lot of great guards throughout history.
Right.
Like,
you know what? And
you not in the top 5, but an all-time great point guard conversation. Like, who are some of those other guys that you mentioned you would probably be leaving off the list?
Mark Jackson,
who's number 4, I think, in assists all time.
Right. But he was a person that really ran an offense. Mm-hmm. He was really that coach on the floor, as they used to say. And that's where I really look at point guards. When I talk about point guards, I talk about people like that. Really, see, Magic. Even though Magic was one of them people like that. See, when you do LeBron James into your category, I don't look at LeBron James as a point guard or even playing the point, really.
Is LeBron not the second coming of Magic Johnson?
No.
Why not?
No.
What do they do differently?
One thing is Magic ran the offense. LeBron don't really run the offense.
BS.
He do?
Who running it?
But LeBron, look how much LeBron score. Look how many shots LeBron take a game.
That doesn't mean you can't do
LeBron is not really running the offense.
Why isn't he?
Okay.
He a facilitator.
Okay.
He bring the ball down. He's saying who goes where.
He don't all the time bring the ball there. He don't all the time bring the ball down.
Majority of the time he is.
He don't. You know what? Times I watch him.
Who the point guard on that team? Who the point guard in LA?
I haven't watched LA too much like this year.
I'll tell you who the point guard is. You want to know?
But I'm talking about.
You want me to tell you who the point guard is in LA?
Go ahead.
LeBron James.
Who?
LeBron James is the point guard in LA.
All right. Okay. Let's look at.
They have a Schroeder, but like.
Okay. Let me go here. When he played in Miami, did he bring the ball down court? Was he the point guard? Was he the dominant person that brought the ball down court?
I'll say he was the facilitator in that offense.
You can call anybody, huh?
Chalmers, they might have brought the ball up the floor, but it was going to LBJ.
Okay.
From there, it was
okay. In Cleveland, did he bring it up all the time?
He wouldn't bring it up, but he would orchestrate in the half court.
So I'm not going to call him a real point guard.
I am.
I'm not going to say that. Now, did Magic bring the ball up and facilitate and do all that? Yes. Did Magic really run the break? Yes. Did he have showtime? Yes. I can't put them in the same category.
Does LeBron not run the break?
He ain't no Magic, man. His passing skills. Do you think he's as good as passer as Magic?
Yes.
If you gotta think that long about that question,
that just means they're close. They're close together.
They're close.
As good.
They're not even close.
LeBron's
It's
vision.
not even really close, huh?
LeBron's vision.
Man, you know what? You know what? Check out Magic. Check out Magic highlights. You want to see something, and then look at LeBron and see if LeBron ran the show like Magic. Magic from Hollywood, man. He was Hollywood. You can't take that away.
Yeah, and I'm not taking.
Hold up. LeBron is in LA. They don't talk about Showtime with him. It ain't no Showtime.
It's a different era. It's a different brand of Lakers basketball.
Do you think if you took Magic and put Magic in this time right now, you think he still couldn't have Showtime?
But you know.
Do you think he couldn't have Showtime?
He would. I mean, that's the style of play. That fast pace. That's what they did.
Today's game is not a fast paced game.
It is, but it was different.
What? So you don't think the day you could take them Lakers from back then and let them play? I mean, run their offense. Now I'm not talking about they ain't got the shooters that's in the game today. But with Magic orchestrating, as we gonna say, they could run with anybody. They could play. They could still be in this era.
I agree. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the NoStoppingKev Show. And until next time, have a blessed week. We'll see you same time, same place next week.